Good evening, everyone. Tonight I'm going to make a shrimp, linguine, artichoke, and caper scampi. So I'm going to turn the camera around. I'm going to show you what I'm doing here. I have the water boiling for the pasta. So let me turn the camera around and I'll bring you right back. As you can see, I have my water boiling here. I'm going to put some salt in it. About a tablespoon. Now, this recipe calls for 10 ounces of linguine. You can see this is linguine, but I don't know how I'm going to get exactly 10 ounces out of here. I think it's about it's a little over half a pack. So I'm just going to pack it down. And I'm just going to drop it in the water. And I'm going to let it. So I got, as you can see, there's about a half a box left. I'm not too concerned whether it's 10 ounces, 12 ounces. It's not going to change the recipe. Now, we're going to cook this according to the box. And the box says to cook it for 9 to 11 minutes. I'm not going to cook it I'm not going to cook it to the high side. I'm going to cook it to 9 minutes. Because we're going to still cook it in the wok when it's done with the other ingredients. So I got it in here. I'm stirring it around so it doesn't stick. I'm going to put a little avocado oil in here just to help it not stick together. It's on a high boil. I'm going to set my timer for 9 minutes and then we'll go from there. So we'll see you back in 9 minutes. All right, everybody, the timer just went off. It's been on for 9 minutes. That means my pasta is completed. I'm going to pour it into a strainer in the sink. I'm going to run cold water over it. I'm going to fluff it and keep it moving so it cools down so it doesn't stick together. So it's just a process of keeping the water running through it. Slowly cooling it down so it doesn't cook anymore. Takes about a minute or two. That's it. So we're gonna let this drain in the sink, and then I'll bring you back when everything else is ready to cook. Let me shut my timer off, and we'll bring you back when I'm ready to prepare the meal. Thank you. All right, I want to introduce you guys to the capers. These are capers right here. These are what's called a caper berry. If you let these grow long enough, they'll turn into this. These you actually slice in half. As you see inside, they got little itty bitty capers inside. This is what's called a caper berry. If you let this go long enough, it'll fruit or flower. Some of them are white inside, some of them are dark. Some of them are even orange, but it's all the same thing. These are caper berries. These were introduced to me down in Savannah, Georgia. When my wife and I were down there, they served these with a fish dish with mandarin or kumquats, which is very good. So what you do is you pull the stem off, and you just slice them in half. And they're very good, very, very good. So you can see the inside. Like I said, some are orange, some are yellow, some are dark. It depends on the age of them, but they're all very, very good. And then you have your little caper berries, which are just miniature versions of this. So I just wanted to show that to you. As you can see, these are the Argentine red raw shrimp that I get. They're 16 to 20 count. They're already peeled, or they're not peeled. They're deveined and they're sliced down the back. So these are the shrimps that I get, and they're freezing. So this is what you're going to see once you unthaw them and you take the tail off and peel them. This is what you're going to see. Now, the odd part about these is these are not cooked. These are raw. So you're going to see a lot of the shrimp that you normally get are going to be gray, because a shrimp is naturally gray when it's raw. These are raw. They come from Argentina and they're already orange. So I just want to show you one. That's an Argentinian shrimp. It's already orange. It is not cooked, it's raw. So when we cook these, we got to go by time, not by color. Because if they're gray and they turn orange or pink, you know they're done. These are already orange. They'll turn a darker shade of orange, but I'll show you that as we cook them. We're going to cook them about 3 minutes. So that's how we know that they're done properly. Okay, I'm going to start the meal. I got 3 tablespoons of olive oil in the pan, avocado oil, olive oil, whatever you want to use, vegetable oil, doesn't matter. I use avocado oil because it has a higher smoke point. We're going to bring the oil up to temperature. Once it comes up to temperature, then we're going to add our garlic in, which I already have minced here. So let me get a spatula ready. So we're gonna wait for the oil to come up to temperature. You can feel it with your hand. You can tell when the oil is coming up to temperature. I actually dropped 1 drop of water in here accidentally. It's already dried up. So now I'm gonna add the garlic in. And we're gonna let that cook. Now remember, garlic burns very quickly. So you don't want to burn the garlic. You just want to bring it up until you can smell the aroma of the garlic coming out of the pan. If you cook it too long, it's going to burn, it's going to be nasty, and garlic gets bitter once it cooks too much. So I'm just going to cook this like a minute or 2. Nothing long. There. And now I can start to smell the garlic coming out of the pan. So that is completed. So now I'm going to add in my shrimp. We're going to spin this around in the pan. Now, like I said before, this shrimp is already orange, so it's not going to really have a color change to it. So it's not going to turn from like gray to orange or gray to pink or whatever people say. So we're gonna cook this for 3 minutes. So I'm gonna set the timer for 3 minutes. And we're gonna cook this in this pan for 3 minutes. We're gonna turn it. We're gonna spin it over. That's the only way you know that this shrimp is done. It's not going to change color. It's not going to go from one color to another. Now I actually have two spatulas. It's the easiest way for me to do it. I'm actually going to turn on my fan. I hope it doesn't bother you too much. I hope you can still hear what I'm trying to say here. So we're going to let this on this side for 1.5 minutes on medium heat. We're just going to let this cook. You want to cook one side, then the other side. Shrimp cooks very, very fast. So 3 minutes is probably the max that you want to cook shrimp in a pan. If you cook it any longer, it's going to get rubbery, tough. It's just not going to be what you're looking for in shrimp. So you want to just cook it for 1.5 minutes on one side. We're coming up on 1.5 minutes. That's 1.5 minutes. Now I'm just going to turn it. I'm going to turn all these shrimp over. And you can tell the side that's already cooked because it looks different. So the ones that haven't been flipped, I'm going to go in here and flip them over. You can tell they're cooked on that side. This is the one that hasn't been flipped, so I'm going to flip that one. This is one that needs to be flipped. Here's one. As you can see, they get a darker color to them, but the color does not technically change. So all these shrimp we're going to cook for another 1.5 minutes. And then we're going to add all of our other ingredients into this pan. So we'll let this cook for another 1.5 minutes. Well, actually we're down to 30 seconds. So this is over a medium heat. Turn your heat down a little bit if you want, so you don't overcook anything. You definitely don't want the garlic to burn. It's starting to turn golden brown now, but it is not burnt by any means. It's just starting to, there's my timer. We're completely done. So now I'm going to add in the artichoke hearts. And let me show you this. These are the artichoke hearts that we get at Costco. They're quartered, they're already marinated in oil. So we're going to take that, what it is, it's like a 14-ounce can. We get it in a 30-ounce bottle. So I just took like half the container. So that gives us roughly 14 to 16 ounces. Now, we're going to add 1/3 cup of white wine in. We're going to add all of our capers. So this is 1/3 cup of capers. And these are caper berries. I have another video where I'll show you. These capers that I just put in, that's a baby of this. These are caper berries. If you let those ones go, they'll turn into this. If you let the caper berries go, they'll turn into a flower. So I had to order them online. It's not something you're gonna find in a store. The funny part of it is I actually ordered it 3 times. The first 2 times that it came, the jar was smashed. The liquid was running out of them. So they weren't any good. It took me 3 times before I actually got a jar that wasn't broken in the mail that I could actually use. But they last, as long as you keep them in their brine, they'll last for 2, 3, 4 years. They're already salted, they're already done. So we're gonna do that. I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. So I have the lemon juice right here. We're gonna add 2 tablespoons. So we've added the lemon juice. Now, we're just gonna let it cook over a medium heat. Now the recipe says until the shrimp turns pink. And as I explained to you, these shrimp are never going to turn pink. They're already that color when they come from the store. They never change color. So we're going to let this set. We're going to let it cook for like 2 to 3 minutes. Let me set the timer. Now we're going to season this with a half a teaspoon of salt. So that's about a half a teaspoon of salt. I don't want to put too much in here. My wife's not fond of a lot of salt, so I don't want to over salt it. And then we're going to add pepper flakes. We're going to add a quarter of a teaspoon of red pepper flakes. If you like it spicier, you can definitely add more. I'm not fond of a lot of spice, so I'm only going to add a quarter teaspoon like it calls for. We're going to spin this in, flip it over. Get all the ingredients mixed together. Bring the stuff down from the side of your pan. Keep it in the liquid in the bottom so it adds to all the flavors in the pan. Now, we're going to add 3 tablespoons of butter. That's just 3 tablespoons of butter. Add that in the pan, and we're going to let that melt down. We're also going to add the parsley, which is about 2 tablespoons of parsley, fresh parsley. So we're going to add that in. So we're just going to let this cook. We're going to let the butter melt down. You can see it's already melting. This is going to have more of a sour taste because of the capers. You can add some sugar to it if you'd like to make it sweeter, but I just prefer. I'm a sour guy. I like kimchi. I like sauerkraut. I like all the sour stuff that you can get. Pickled mustard. Anything that's sour, I absolutely enjoy. But that's just me. Alright, so my timer is done. I'm going to bring my linguine over. I've already cooked. It's 10 ounces of linguine, or as close as I can get. And now, we're going to toss this into the dish. We're going to mix everything together. Your parsley will mix in, your capers will mix in, everything will mix into this dish. Just make sure that you have everything in it. You don't want to let anything out. Because that way, every time you take a bite, you're going to have something different that you're tasting. And this is the shrimp linguine, artichoke, caper, scampi. This is our meal. When I serve it on the plate, on the table, I will put Parmesan cheese on top of it. It just adds another level of flavor that I think is really, really good. So when we get ready to serve it on the table, I'll bring you back. All right, everybody, this is the shrimp with linguine, artichokes, and caper berries and capers. And I'm gonna be putting Parmesan cheese on top of it. I sprinkled over top. We'll let it set for a minute or two for the Parmesan cheese to melt, and then I'll bring you back when we try it. All right, everybody, I'm gonna serve it up. I'm gonna serve some to my wife.
Thank you.
I wanna make sure that she gets some artichoke hearts, some caper berries, some shrimp. I wanna make sure that she gets all that. I'm gonna put some on my plate. Good, I'm gonna get some caper berries because I like the capers very, very much. That's an artichoke heart. There's a shrimp. There's another artichoke heart. There, we'll give her another shrimp. Oh,
That's good.
Sorry.
It's okay, it's good.
Here's another one. So, give it a try, dear,
Let's dig in.
and tell me what you think of it. I know this is one of your favorite dishes.
Yeah, I always like the noodles with artichoke and caper berry. Yeah, it's one of my favorite seasoning there. Or
And
ingredients.
we also have the small capers in here too, but the caper berries I think are the best thing.
Mm-hmm. It's very appetizing.
Now we're gonna have another recipe in the future that is fish with the caper berries and mandarin or kumquats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
So,
remember that.
That we got in Savannah. Oh my God,
It was,
I fell in love with it.
Yeah,
It's an
unforgettable.
amazing, yeah. It's an unforgettable meal.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you like it?
I really like it.
Are the shrimp cooked good, or are they overcooked, or are they cooked perfectly, or?
The shrimp is very tender.
Okay.
I like it.
That's the problem with using Argentinian shrimp, because it's already orange. So you have to learn how to cook it so you don't overcook it. If you overcook it, it's going to be chewy, rubbery. It's just not a good thing. So I'm going to try it too. This is a shrimp. It's very good.
I like the flavor with salty and sour mixed together.
And that's the capers.
Yeah, I like it. It has very special flavor.
Yeah, so that's what you guys got to understand. The capers give it a soury flavor, a sour flavor. Because capers are very sour. So with all the other ingredients we put in, it's just a mixture of different spices and flavors, which makes it really good. That's an artichoke. Very good. Very sweet, very tender, very good. This is a caper berry, like I showed earlier. It's not a caper, it's a caper berry. It's a caper that was allowed to mature, turned into a berry.
It's great.
They're amazing. I have the seeds inside. They actually have the miniature capers inside, which makes them amazing. So I'm gonna turn the camera off. We're gonna sit here and eat our supper. I appreciate you for joining us. Please subscribe, hit the bell at the bottom. We really appreciate you watching. If you like our show, please join us. Please subscribe. We'll show you many more recipes in the future. Have a great night. Bye-bye.